Bang! Neves Knives. I'm Jared. My lovely wife, Kara, is at work. And in this video, we are going to talk about a bunch of updates. Some of these will go by very quick, and some of them will go a little slower. So let's just get right into it. Benchmade 940 got new titanium scales for it, and the problem I was having was I was getting a lot of play in the pivot area. I talked to Zach, and he said, well, take the pivot back out and make sure it's not seated, if it's not seated all the way, because, you know, it is a D-shaped pivot, so sometimes maybe it just didn't seat all the way, yada, yada. So I did that, and is absolutely seated all the way. It's as seated as far as it could possibly go, and even if I tighten it down 100% to the point to where this thing will not open and close, it still has play. And where I feel it is in the pivot, like, meaning when I wiggle right here, I can actually feel the pivot right here and right here moving in my fingers. I can actually feel them shifting right there. So I don't know if I should return the scales, because they're from Flytanium, or talk to Flytanium and see if I need to get a new pivot, maybe if this pivot isn't supposed to fit, because they did send me a bunch of new hardware. The only piece of hardware they didn't send me with this was the pivot, which I thought was kind of weird because the back spacers didn't fit the other scales. Nothing fit the other scales, but then the pivot's supposed to fit. I don't know. Anyways, so that's the update on this. Basically, I couldn't fix it, and I'm probably going to have to either send them back or get them to send me a pivot. Maybe that'll work. I don't know. You know, I'm not worried about it failing or anything. It's just, you know, my pivot's shifting, you know, it's you know, just irritating. So, yeah, let's get to the next one. The next one was another one I was having issues with. So I never had any issues with this knife. This knife was always super smooth, locked up like a rock. I mean, it was just always great. Put the new scales on there, which shout out to Talica for these scales. I appreciate it, brother. He sent me the scales, went on perfect, and it was still locked up really good. It was super smooth. Everything went great. The scales were from RC Blade Works. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I started getting play in my pivot. Like where I was getting play. I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to tighten it up. Maybe my screw's backing out a little bit. And I did it over and over, could not get it to go away. So I stripped it down, I took it apart, and I think I found the issue. So this has a barrel bushing that goes in the pivot, like kind of like a Sabenza, where when you take it apart, the barrel is separate from the screws that go in. So there's a screw, and then a barrel that goes in the middle of everything, and the two screws go into it. So basically the blade spin or shifts or rotates on the barrel, which is a very good way to build a knife. It makes it where you can tighten the screws all the way down and you still can open and close it. Well, it has shift. When I put the blade on there, there's a significant amount of shift with the barrel, which I don't know how that could suddenly happen. I don't know if maybe there was some Loctite around the barrel before and it just kind of made it, I don't know. I have no idea, but now it's shifting on the barrel, the bushing, it's shifting on there. So there's not much I can do about that, even when I tighten it down to the max. I slowly tightened down both sides and I got rid of it, okay? But at that point, I could not open or close it whatsoever. I mean, even when I unlock it, like it was just so stiff, I'd be scared to close it. Then I slowly backed them out, and it's not as bad as it was, and I can have decent action. Like, it's not like crazy smooth like this one. This is how mine used to be. Mine used to be like this. Which it's still very smooth now, but I have to deal with a little bit of play. Now, even if I say deal with a little less action, and I don't mind, as long as I can open and close it with one hand, I'm okay with that. But even if I suck it in even tighter to get worse action, it still has play. So I'm dealing with this amount of play, the amount that it's at, with this type of action, which the action's good. I'm okay with the action. It's nice and centered, which it's always nice and centered, but it does have a slight bit of play now that there's nothing I can do. It's on the bushing doing it. Now, next, and I do have a question here coming up soon that I want to talk to you guys about. So I got a few more knives coming up, but I want to talk about this Viking Edge strop and this other strop I bought, because it's crazy. Normally I would say you get what you pay for, right? You get what you pay for. Well, not in this case. So, and let me be clear really quick. So I'm happy with this strop. This was an expensive strop. I think it was like $30 or something like that, 26, $30, whatever, something like that. I know that's not crazy expensive, but compared to this, a lot more expensive. So very thick leather, happy with that. This leather right here, it's very hard, it's very dense. So what I did was on both of these, this one and this one was only like $10, okay? $10, both of these came with compounds, but this is just leather, nothing else. This is beaver leather, I think, or is it, yeah, beaver leather. And then this, I don't know what kind of leather it is. The company's called beaver leather. I don't know if this is actually beaver leather. My point is that I sprayed them both with 0.5 micron diamond spray, and I'm not that happy with this one. This one I am. And I said it before that I like the furrier kind of leather, in my opinion. This is the harder, denser kind of leather. It's not as, like, you can kind of see. So for stropping with this specific compound, I'm definitely happier with the furrier. So now I'm wondering, so what should I put on this? So I'm thinking about putting my lower grit compound on this. Since it's harder, I already know pretty much it's going to, one of these probably, these are diamond. So it'll give me, I'm not sure which one I'm going to put on. This one's like so aggressive that it's like sharpening. These ones, this one, and then the other one I have a really low, basically 2 micron, and then a, what's this one? 7/5 micron, which those are both like almost mirror. So if not mirror, so, I don't know. I thought about maybe trying one of those on this, but this is the soft side. So I'm curious, have one of you guys ever taken sandpaper to your soft side? I'm not a big fan of the smooth side of the leather, so I'm thinking about just stripping it down to this, basically on both sides, putting a 3 micron on one and maybe the 7 micron on the other. I don't, something like that. But basically my point is that this is a good leather, but remember, it's going to be hard if you get it. The Viking Edge leather strops. This one, the beaver leather, I think I called it the other day badger leather, but it's beaver craft. You see it right there. Anyways, good quality leather. Very, very good leather. It's pretty thick. It's only $10. You're not going to get any wood or anything, but if you have wood, you can just slap it right on there like this. I have no problem just putting it on here like this and stropping it. Sorry, this is the Williamson Red E knife. Okay, so that was the update on that. I normally you get what you pay for, and I was trying to actually show like the difference between a $10 strop and a $30 strop, but I actually, it wound up surprising me. But I'm, the harder leather I might wind up liking a lot more as we go on, as I try it with other compounds. I just recently got that. I just wanted to do a quick update on that, just in case anybody was like running to get the more expensive leather. If you want the better quality leather and you have wood already, get the badger. Did it again. The beaver. Okay, so now this one is just going to be a very, very quick update. This is the KANSEPT Accipiter. And normally I wouldn't throw this in this type of video, but I just want to say, man, this thing, the more and longer I have this thing, the more impressed I am with it. And just the better it feels, like such great quality, and it really continues to impress me. And I really like this knife. It's such good quality, but besides that, like, just every time I pick it up, I don't know if I just get a better muscle memory for the knife itself or what, but I'm very happy with this knife. I really like this knife. We'll break out the strop for this one because, so old Rocky, you know, I've been stropping it and not using it like crazy. And I did get the edge to come back pretty decent without scratching because I'm using a 1/2 micron, which a 1/2 micron is for polish. Don't expect a 1/2 micron to really bring your edge back like crazy unless if it's like there's barely any wear or anything. A 1/2 micron is more for a polished edge and keeping the mirror or putting a mirror on it or whatever, you know. And also a little bit of bite. It's going to add a little bit of a bite, but not like a, you know, a lower grit. But anyway, so this thing might need to, well, one, I got some grease coming, so as soon as I get some grease, I am going to take this apart and re-grease it, even though it's not like really bad or anything. It's just, it's, you know, not as smooth as it was. That's for one. And two, I'm wondering if I don't want to sharpen it because it scares me, but, and then in other ways, it makes me want to challenge myself and sharpen it. But anyways, point is that this leather with this knife has worked just fine with the 1/2 micron to not hurt the polish and for me to really keep that convexed grind, because it is a convexed grind from here to here, and then it has a zero grind, and you basically want to go like that. I notice works really good. Lay the whole bevel down on it and get the entire bevel. Don't try to get the edge, get the entire bevel. And it's working pretty good, keeping up with the edge and making it come back and keeping that polish. Now, I did try to use it on the harder stuff, and like I said, I prefer this beaver craft over it. But so far, old Rocky is doing fantastic. Now, but I do need to take it apart, you know, and clean it up a little bit maybe. Even though I haven't gotten it dirty or anything, but you know, just over time, the grease wears out a little bit. So, now, two more. And these ones we're really getting deep now. Okay, so now this one. This is the Quest Custom Gent. So when I first got this, it did have a couple minor issues, okay? So one was it had a significant amount of lock stick, okay? So then when I would add a little bit of marker to the lock face, it would go away, no more lock stick, but it would have play. It would have lock rock, okay? Lock rock. Now, it seems as if there's a tiny bit of stick left, but it's so small. I mean, it's barely nothing. And the play has gone away. It's locked up really solid. I knew eventually it would. The other problems were the grind. The grind was a little uneven from one side to the other. So now this is what I'm thinking about doing though. Because of the grind, how it was off just a little bit from one side to the other, and it's mostly in here. And you can kind of see how it kind of waves the edge just a little bit. It's a hand done grind, so you know it's not that big of a deal. But where I'm going with this is that I'm thinking about adding a bigger sharpening choil. I don't know about a complete finger choil right here because I do have a significant amount of finger, so I could really just add in like basically like this, basically like that. So maybe like that, And that way, one, I will have a little bit better finger choil there. So it'll be a good finger choil. And the sharpening choil will be fixed. And, you know, I won't have to worry about the two sides being uneven. And I think it'll look good. So I think I might do that. And also the cool thing is that there's nothing hurting me back here. Thinking about doing that to this knife, I think it'll look really good. And, you know, the knife is great. The ergos are fantastic. It does cut pretty good. It has a very thin edge, very mean grind, hand done grind. You can actually tell it's hand done. But anyways, that is the Quest Custom Gent. Very, very cool. Okay, so now final. So if you watch my Instagram, you'll know I took this knife apart. I took it apart and I cleaned it up. So I took it apart, I cleaned it up. I want to say the hardware is done very, very well. It came apart very easily, very nicely, no problems. Then I polished the washers. Okay, polished the washers. I started on a 7.5 micron. Then I went to a 3/2 micron. They were pretty gritty. Everything was pretty gummy up inside here. So even though it was extremely smooth, you know, it was, I felt like I could get a little bit better out of it. And, you know, like I said, when I took it apart, it was a little grimy in there. So now it's all cleaned up, and there's one more thing I want to show, though. So hang on a second after I show the action. The action did increase. Now, I think it's going to increase even more once I get because I have, I got some grease coming, some Chris Reeves grease. Should be here any day now. I'm just waiting for it. But the action did increase. Oh, I love the sound of this thing. Very, very nicely. I'm very happy. So the next thing. So I'm going to show you some pictures really quick of another one. Shout out to the channel and the guys that did this to their Spartan Hersey. So you notice that they have finger choils. And I'm thinking about it. So I'm thinking about possibly doing one very similar, but maybe not quite as pronounced. I don't know, because this is the thing, is I can always go bigger. And I'm very happy with the way this thing is showing the colors. Like you see the blue shining out, coming through the purples. And it's really breaking in nicely. You know, all anode does that event, you know, like as you handle it, it really breaks in, and the color underneath it starts coming through, which it's beautiful. I love it. I can see it on the jimping here, and that's one of my favorite colors. So I am excited seeing the colors come through this thing. Now, when I add the choil, I don't know if I should add the full finger, where if I'm holding it here, I can put a full finger there, or just do a good sharpening choil, right? And then I can use this and that spot right there to lock in. I think that's the way I might go. And I'm only saying that because if I'm not happy with it, I can always go bigger. I can't take it back, right? So I'm thinking something like, and I can't mess with this right here because that's where it locks up at. So I have to be careful for that. So it'll most likely be like this. You want to get past where this grind is right here. You know, if I do it. Because I'll never sell this. I'll never trade this. I'll never sell this. I love this thing so much. And this gift means a lot to me. It really does. And so, you know, why not make it mine? Yeah, I guess sort of say. Something that I'm very proud of. And I don't know. I don't know if I should go like that or just go all out. Like, if you're going to do it, go all out, you know, put the whole finger choil in there. I don't know. I feel like this would look good, though. You know, just a good old sharpening choil on there. Maybe actually take this little piece off, too. Like that. Obviously, it won't be wonky or anything because the bit will be round, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think just add the sharpening choil or add a full finger choil? What do you guys think? I'm really curious to hear what you guys got to say. I think the guy on Instagram, well, the couple guys on Instagram, theirs looks so badass. It looks so awesome. I love the way it looks. Not only do I love the way it looks, you know, it defeats so many things. Like, it makes it easier to sharpen. It makes it to where as you sharpen it, you're never going to run into an issue. Like, it just, there's benefits to it. So, yeah. I'm really thinking about it, man. And then it's really mine, and it'll just, I think it'll look so sweet. And like I said, this will never get sold or traded. So now the question is, will they void the warranty? Right? Will they void the warranty? I don't know. I don't know. I could talk to them, but I guarantee they're going to be like, absolutely. Absolutely, it'll void the warranty. Even though I don't know why that would do anything to the warranty. But, you know, anyways, I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know down in the comments the questions I asked and what you guys think. If you feel like joining in, peace.